Welcome to the Ask Sue London the Pet Psychic Show, on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, and X-Zone TV channel. Sue is one of the most sought-after pet mediums and angelic messengers who has worked with people from around the world, helping them to cope, heal and move forward from the emotional trauma caused by losing a pet, as well as the challenges of dealing with the behaviors of difficult pets. An award-winning business professional, best-selling author, Sue has appeared on radio and TV shows around the world. Now, here is the host of Ask Sue London the Pet Psychic, from Fort Erie, Ontario, Canada. Here is Ms. Sue London.
Hello there. Welcome to Ask Sue London, the Pet Psychic. I'm your host, Sue London. And on this show, you're going to learn your pet's thoughts, emotions, and the messages that they're trying to bring you. Now, we've got a great show for you today. I've got this wonderful lady on who I've known for 20 plus years, and she is going to talk to you about Reiki. We're going to talk about how Reiki can help you and your pet. It can help you and in experiences and situations that might be maybe stressful for you, how to prepare for them, and how to help your pet cross over. So without any further delay, let's bring Brenda on. But in the meanwhile, guys, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Brenda, my friend, welcome.
Hi, Sue. It's wonderful to be here with you.
Well, you know, you're a Reiki master. I'm a Reiki master. I think how we need to start the show is that let's tell the audience what Reiki is, and let's talk about that there's different levels, because that's going to help them to understand how you can do so much with this.
Absolutely. Okay. Reiki is amazing. I'm a registered nurse. I've just retired from frontline nursing from after 38 years. But it was about 17 years ago, I stumbled upon Reiki, or shall I say, Reiki found me, right? Mm-hmm. What we need in this world finds us if we put the heart prayer out to the universe. And I had never heard of Reiki, had never heard of energy work, had never heard of any of this wonderful self-actualization that is really available beyond the physician's prescription pad and prescriptions and medications and all that sort of stuff. So I was a hardcore RN, and and it was a 3-minute hands-on Reiki session at break one day that changed my world. I was at the lowest point in my life, and I had been praying for something wonderful to happen in my world. And as such, this 3-minute hands-on session helped me to feel really good for a day and a half. So I had to learn more. And once I learned more about it, I found out that Reiki is more medicine than our medical system. And what this energy flowing through us. So Reiki is universal life force energy. It's 2 words, 2 Japanese words. And it has an incredible story behind it. But all I can tell you is when you start to feel the flow of energy through you, your life just changes. You know that you are in charge of life and divinely connected. Not that there's any religious dogma attached to this at all, but it is truly transformative when you feel the energy flowing through your hands. And then when you transfer it onto another person or animal or anything with a life force in it, you have the power. It's just like jumper cables on a dead battery. That's what I like to say, is it charges us back into life, true life. Mm-hmm. And Sue, we've been doing this Reiki work for a long time, and you have your amazing stories as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And how Reiki came into my life, it found me, like you said for yourself. It was in 1989, and I was really struggling with Crohn's disease. I couldn't eat food. My weight was down to 80 pounds, and I'm 5'5", so 80 pounds is kind of tiny for my frame of body. And I learned that an aunt from my ex-husband came up to me one day, and she said to me, "I can help you with your health, and I want you to come over, and I want to do Reiki on you." And I had no idea what it was, but I was so desperate for help and to be able to, keep food in and get some weight on me. And, if anyone knows the symptoms of Crohn's disease, it's pretty nasty. So if she could help me with any of those symptoms of, chronic diarrhea or rapid weight loss or severe pain, I was in for it, right? So I went over, and where she was a 2-hour drive for me. And we would drive there. She would work on me a couple hours, and then we would drive home. And I would go to her not being able to keep any food in. She'd work on me. And then I would also be able to eat food. I would eat turkey dinners after every appointment with her. And it was the greatest gift. And then I was at one point where I had fistulas. They wanted to remove my large bowel, and I was only 26 years old. And I said, no, there's got to be other options out there. I told my surgeon, I was going to look into Reiki. I had experienced being able to help me to eat. So I thought, well, maybe it could help, remove these fistulas that were kind of like shutting down my organs. So the doctor agreed that, yeah, let's give it a go. And so he gave me 3 months. And I went for the Reiki treatments, and these fistulas went away. And I did not lose my large bowel. And the Crohn's disease is actually gone now. And doctors said I only have 1% chance of ever getting sick again in my life if I go back to that stressful life that I had leaded before. So yeah, Reiki and Brenda, you and I have worked on so many people, and we have worked on I worked on animals. Have you worked on animals?
Yes, yeah. Of course.
Well, you worked on Daisy, right?
Yes, I worked on Daisy, but I also have worked on an amazing cat that was a very big part of my life for a long time. So can I share this story?
Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. So I always believe that animals find us that truly want to be part of our life. So Riley was a cat that was given up by neighbors of ours. Their granddaughter didn't want this cat anymore. And so we took Riley in, and he was a ginger tabby cat, just gorgeous. And so he was getting up in years. He was about 12 years old. And he started having this really weird cough, and his nose would turn a funny color, and he just didn't look right, and he'd heave. So we took him in, and the vet said that he had congestive heart failure and that I needed to give him some medication, which ironically was the same medication I'm feeding to people, right? Like to my residents and patients.
Right.
So this vasotech, I had to choke this down once a day. First of all, catch the cat, choke it down, and try to get it back in the mouth because he would keep spitting it out. Didn't matter if I crushed it, put in cheese, put in whatever treat, the cat would know instinctively that there was something in it and be repulsed by it.
Yeah.
So after a month of this, and it would take upwards of 2 hours to try to complete the whole process. So the cat's not happy. I'm not happy. And we had to come up with another way. So at this point, I was a Reiki master. And I just said one day when the last pill finally went down, I went, God, into your hands, I command this cat, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And I started to do Reiki. Mm-hmm. Now I had been doing Reiki sporadically, but I was doing this other thing. But now I said, this is borrowed time. Let's see how things go. And the cat would come to me instinctively, and you just knew, you pick up intuitively what's going on. Right. And the cat would come every day and jump up on my lap, and I do Reiki. And when he was done, when he was complete, he'd jump off. And this lasted for 2.5 years. We got 2.5 years out of a terminal illness that medication supposedly would only help. And actually, Riley, when I was sitting at the desk one day, he meowed this funny meow, and I thought, oh, he's coming for his Reiki session. But when I turned around, he was coming up behind me and he fell over. And I looked at him, and I saw the blue nose again. And I just knew his ears were back. He looked really not well. So I went down to him, and I thanked him. I did Reiki, and he died in my hands. And, it was, even though it's sad, it's a very gratifying thing when you know that you can provide comfort for another being at that time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm at the end of the show, I'm going to share how I helped Rocky to cross over by giving him Reiki. So yeah, amazing stuff. We're going to go to a break very shortly, but I wanted to share quickly. You're talking about Riley. For me, with Rocky, Rocky was a dog that helped me over all the challenges I face. And he had a tumor in his paw. And the doctor wanted to amputate his foot. And I said, no, that I need to see other options first. And I did Reiki on him and the tumor went away. And he lived like two and a half more years and crossed over at like 16 and a half years old. And I was very grateful, for that. But yeah, we could go on and on for, hours over what has happened. I remember when I first got my Reiki, I was guided to go for a car ride. And here there was a little girl, 19-year-old girl with Down syndrome who had just been hit by a car. And I was guided to pull over, and the other side was kind of pushing me, go do it, go do it. And I just instinctively went to her feet. And she said I was really shiny bright to her. And I just was doing Reiki on her. And the ambulance attendant said it was just incredible how calm she got once I put my hands on her. So that was such a gift for me, to be able to help, a child that was so scared of getting that brace on her neck, like after being hit by a car and all that. So good stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely good stuff.
So, yeah, I'm thinking what we're going to do is when we come back from the break, I want us to first talk about how Reiki, like the different levels, so that we can explain to people just what to expect. Like, if you want to take your training, the different levels and what you can do with them. I feel we have a lot of people that are listening to the show and they're going to want to take their courses. So let's talk about that. And then as we're talking, maybe you can, after we've talked about, the levels, let's get you doing Reiki for the rest of the show on everybody. And then just so you know, you're going to be able to keep clicking that button and then have Reiki every time. So we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Ask Sue London, the Pet Psychic, and my guest is Brenda Pierce, and we're on XZTV. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to the show. You're listening to Ask Sue London, the Pet Psychic, and my guest is Brenda Pierce. And today we are talking about Reiki. Now, Brenda, before I get you to do Reiki on everyone, let's tell people there's 3 levels. So when people get Reiki training, tell them what they can do with level 1.
Yeah, absolutely. So how it was really explained to me with level 1, if you look at different sizes of cables and cords around you, level 1 is probably allowing the channel of energy to go through you through a thin little wire. That's what it would appear like. So level 1 is basically you're learning about energy work. You're learning about how it feels and how it flows. And you're really getting a grasp on helping yourself mostly, but you can also start to help other people as well, which is really, really good. It's really cool. It's like actually adding a tool to your toolbox. And so level 1 is like foundational. And I can tell you that as a college instructor in health, everybody that was ever a student of mine learned about Reiki, and many have experienced level 1. Because all they want to do is reduce stress and fear and anxiety and help to improve their mood and their behavior and how they feel in the world. And it actually starts to charge your battery of life so that you start to be leveling up and feeling good inside and feeling good all the time, which is really unusual in today's day and time. So that's level 1.
Can I share? Can I share with this that I found when I got my level 1 and as a teacher teaching it, I found that really level 1 was to kind of clear your stuff and help you heal physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I found for myself and the students I had. It was kind of like, yes, you're learning Reiki, but it's also preparing you to be that great conduit for the energy to flow through.
Absolutely. Yeah. And universally, what I found is something called the pain, fear, anxiety triangle. So pain, fear, and anxiety really exists in most of our lives in one form or the other. And what Reiki really can do is collapse one of those sides, and then the other sides kind of collapse in. So you start to feel less painful, and you can put your hands on areas and let the energy flow and help to improve circulation. And actually, it resonates with what's known as a Schumann resonance. So the earth has a vibrational frequency of 0 to 50 hertz. And Reiki is somewhere in there because it actually is helping you to resonate with the earth's magnetic fields and really feel like you are regenerating yourself inside and out. So lots of times you'll find people that do Reiki or energy work consistently actually look younger and feel better and have more of life just kind of rolls off your shoulders. And it really is very effective. And I think everybody should learn this, really.
Yeah. Well, when I saw what it did for me, I thought I wanted to take this to be able to help my children if they ever needed it, and my animals. And my dogs get a Reiki treatment every single day. And I do Reiki every morning on myself. And every night, my husband and I will lay in bed and we'll watch TV and we hold hands. This is our thing. And Ross has his Reiki as well. And we put each other to sleep. And we can't hold hands because we're putting each other to sleep at like 7:00 at night. So you got to be careful with this, But,
I know you and Ross are something else, I tell you.
that was a whole other show last week, Brenda.
Well, level 2, let's move on. So level 2 is really cool because like I showed you how the wire of energy, when you go up from level 1 to level 2, it's like the cord is double in size and strength, and more energy. It works through that conduit that is developed inside of you. It's like a mental muscle. The more you use it, the more it expands. Mm-hmm. And when you're attuned, so it's like a tuning fork to level 1, level 2, more and more of this intuitive energy starts to flow as well. Not that you become psychic woohoo, but you start to really understand how energy flows and how it feels. And then we actually start to learn some of the Sanskrit symbols and more of the symbolism that was given to Dr. Yusui way back when he was on Mount Karuna, way back in Japan, when this was downloaded onto him. So there is a sacred lineage that connects all Reiki practitioners back to Dr. Yusui, which is really, really unique. And yet, this ability for us to expand with this energy work is non-denominational, does not care about your political party or your beliefs or anything. It's universal, which is so really cool. And when you start to tap into this universal knowledge, your view on life is so much broader too, isn't it, Sue?
Oh, absolutely. And what we need to tell people is when you have level 2, so level 1, you're putting your hands on the individual, whether person or place or animal. And then when you get level 2, you can be in your own space, say in your home. And I would send Reiki to my kids who were at school doing a test and they were stressed. Or like every show do distant Reiki on everybody who's listening to my show, and to make them feel better when they listen to my show. So level 2 is about distance healing, right?
It is. And what's really unique and maybe not so much common now is, remember how we used to pick up the phone and sometimes whoever you were intending to call was right there on the other end and it never rang? Mm-hmm. That's what distance Reiki energy is exactly like. Is you have the intention, somebody has a need, you intone the symbols, you create the surrogate because you want to have something to work on. So it could be a pillow, it could be a doll, it could be whatever, or a picture. Just looking at a picture of your loved one is enough that when you send that loving energy that is Reiki to the distance recipient, they also have the right to refuse it. So it's not like you're interfering with somebody against their wishes or their desires, but it's like that telephone conversation, universal conversation that the other side is picked up when you intend to send that call, which is really cool.
Right.
Really.
Now, I don't know if you experience this, but I know when I do Reiki, and this is maybe because I'm, different, like we talk about a lot. But I find when I do Reiki, I am feeling it physically and emotionally. Do you have that happen to you when you do it?
I do.
Okay.
It's interesting because when you put your hands on somebody else, right? You allow yourself to anchor and connect to that person, and you start to feel their energy. And as the energy is flowing through me, through my heart, down to my hands, and there is actually spectral photography, which can show, and you can look this up on the internet, you can watch videos, but they can show the flow of energy coming through your fingers and your palms to another person. And they actually have, they can see the color of the aura changing as the person is doing work. So there's a lot of science behind this. And this is, as a nurse, that's where I had to go, is to the science. There's a lot of science about this, a lot of anecdotal experiences, but they are able to show the flow of energy from a practitioner to the recipient.
Now, in the next minute, can you explain what level 3 is, master level? Because what I want you to do in the next minute and a half is to start doing Reiki so that when we go to break, they're already experiencing the Reiki. Okay.
Absolutely.
So tell everybody, you got 30 seconds. How's that for pressure for you, Brenda?
Oh, no pressure at all. But hey, so basically I did start Reiki before the show as well, because I wanted to make sure that we were enveloping the whole show with love and peace. Mm-hmm. But level 3, master teacher, some people have it as a level 4, some have it as level 3. Mm-hmm. So, and basically you learn more of the symbols, more of the history is revealed to you, but you actually get to start to teach other people about Reiki. And that is where it really becomes magical, because that cord becomes like a 220-volt cable inside of you, and that flow of energy is just washing through you, and it's amazing. So as I hold up my palms, Reiki is flowing to you right now, and may you enjoy this and be blessed with this.
So now so people know you are doing level 2 Reiki. Basically, this is because you're sending it out to everybody, just so you're aware of that.
Absolutely.
And can I add with this, when Brenda's doing this, what's happening is she's sending Reiki to you now. This can go to anybody who's watching this show. So if you feel that, tomorrow you are just, stressed and all the Christmas stuff going on and everything, come back to the show, click it on, and then you'll experience Brenda's Reiki to you again. So every time that you watch the show, you'll experience Reiki. And something else that I want to suggest is drink a lot of water, because you may think she's putting her hands up and, this is like kind of crazy, I'm not seeing anything. But energy work is very powerful, and you want to drink a lot of water because it will clear the toxins within you. It will bring peace to you. It can bring solutions to you. It can bring you answers that you may don't know what to do. Conflict can get resolved. It might energize you to clean your house. Maybe you need that extra support for that. Maybe you're worried about finances this time of year. You'll have a peace come over you around that. Anyways, so that's kind of what's happening. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, you're still getting the Reiki. Okay. So we're going to take that break now. And when we come back, Brenda's going to do more Reiki, and we're going to answer more questions and give you more information about all this. Okay. So you're listening to Ask Sue London, the Pet Psychic, here on XZ TV, and stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to the show. This is Ask Sue London, the Pet Therapist. And I've got my friend here, Brenda Pierce, and she's doing Reiki on you. And I'm kind of feeling scattered.
Hold on here. Are you Sue London, the Pet Psychic, or are you Sue London, the Pet Therapist?
I'm the Pet Psychic, but I was afraid to correct it because I didn't think you could edit it.
I can't. So let's start again.
You know what's happening, Brenda? The Reiki is like affecting me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just in your head, say cancel, so it doesn't bother you.
All right. Just give me a second here. We have to do a reset.
Oh, shoot.
Whoops, whenever you're ready.
5, 4, 3. Hold on. Shoot. Oh, my timer is like going full. I can't stop it. Okay. This is crazy what's happening over here right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the show. You're watching Ask Sue London, the pet psychic, and my guest here is Brenda Pierce, and she is doing Reiki on us all. And I got to tell you, wow, is the Reiki ever getting to me here, girl? So what are you experiencing, Brenda, so that everybody in the audience can understand what you're going through?
Yeah, happily. So as the energy is, you don't feel the energy coming into you, but what it does is from your palms is you feel this pulsation. And if I sit really still, I know that this is transmitting through the radio waves of our TV show and internet and wherever we are, because energy, if you remember, Einstein said energy cannot be destroyed, it can be changed, right? Mm-hmm. It can't be created nor destroyed. It just changed. So we're just transmuting energy from the universe all around us, and it creates this pulsation in my palms, and it's very peaceful. It's very calming, and I know that whoever is receiving this, because you have a choice, you can sit there and just say no, thank you, it's not for me, or you can sit back and you actually absorb it. But the beautiful thing is that even if you're not attuned to Reiki, you can actually do Reiki yourself, basically putting your hands on your chest and letting it rest, your hands rest, and just say Reiki, Reiki, Reiki 3 times, and then take a deep breath and relax, and you'll feel the energy flowing through you. So it'll actually feel just like it is right now coming through my palms to you. So that's a gift.
I was going to say, what's happening for me right now is my legs are really tingling, and I just feel very floaty and really having a hard time like focusing. So it almost is that feeling like, you feel drunk, I guess you could say. Not that I've ever been drunk, people. I'm not a drinker. I'm not either. When I got my Reiki training, and I want to make a point to tell you all this. When I got my Reiki training, I could not eat certain foods. I cannot drink alcohol. The purest of the pure is what the Reiki did to me. Like it just makes my body have to be like that. But this is what's happening for me. So some of the things that people could experience, Brenda, do you want to share with that? Like my tingling legs, for example.
Oh, yeah. Deep relaxation, is also one of these things. So I've developed this hypno Reiki technique now. So it's like really relaxing and going into another zone. And I often say it's like going into delta or theta. And my original first session of the 3 minutes, I went out and I felt like I had been on a vacation in 3 minutes and came back fully relaxed. It's a brilliant feeling. And once you do this, you feel it, you always gravitate back to it because it just feels so good.
Now, people are watching this and they're wanting to know, how do they get involved with learning Reiki?
There's actually, yeah. So Sue and I are both Usui Reiki masters, but there are actually there are, I've heard, over 800 different versions of Reiki. So there is the Jacadian, which is actually back to the original Dr. Usui Reiki. So, the thing is, find a Reiki person, have a conversation with them, experience a session with them. And I think that that's really important before you start to jump into it. Try it on yourself. Do that Reiki, 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 and just feel that sense of relaxation that is so blissful. See if you sleep better. See if you feel better. See if you are less anxious. Years ago, I was part of a study at the hospital where I actually experienced it for the first time. And we did pre and post session pain, fear, and anxiety measurements. And incrementally, where people came in very stressed and very anxious and having pain from moving, whatever, post session, all the measurements were way down. And this was used for somebody's master's thesis. So it is measurable. So, this is really important for people to understand how scientific it really is.
Can I share something? And I don't know if we can do this or not while you're doing the Reiki. If you put your hands, this is how it was explained for me to explain to people. If you put your hands apart like this, you can, and just do this. You can feel like this energy in between. And I guess that's the best way for you, in the audience, just do this. And you can feel the energy. I can make my ball really big. If I want to pull my hands out, I can make it smaller. For me, what happens, and I have this ability before I even did my training, that my hands would tingle and heat up. And as a child, I had this. And so I'm feeling kind of like prickly vibration coming out of my hands. So this is kind of something that you can kind of play with, right? So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it gets denser. The more you compress it, the more it feels like it's pressing about against you.
Right. So this is kind of an idea, for you folks, that you can say you're experiencing it by doing it yourself this way, and you're getting it from Brenda. Now, I want to say that for pets, they're awesome. Like you had talked about with your cat, that the cat will only take so much. Animals, they will actually put their body where they want the healing. And for my boys, our two dogs, Gus and Marley, they'll position their body. If they, Marley might have an earache, so he'll put his head on my hand. And then when he's had enough Reiki, because animals don't need the amount of Reiki that we absorb, maximum 10 minutes is all I work on our boys. And so just watch how your animals come and position their bodies near you. And, we all have this natural ability for healing too. Like moms, how many times do you put your hands on your child where they've gotten hurt or something? So, just go with it. And if your animal comes to you and puts their body a certain way, put your hand on that and just visualize energies going into them. So Brenda, now what I want to talk about now is, we're going to kind of like, while you're still doing Reiki, I want to talk about the experience with Daisy's portrait. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Daisy is almost 19 years old. We're not 100% sure of her age. Mm-hmm. She was a foundling, and she came into our life. So there was a reason and a purpose. So mm-hmm. She's a Jack Russell. And, for a number of years, we experienced the massive energy and how active and crazy, silly she was. Mm-hmm. But now that she's getting older, we know that someday in the not too distant future that she will probably make her transition. And so Sue and I were working on a project together, and Sue gifted me with a reading from Daisy. And this was when she was first deciding to step into this amazing work that she's doing. And so Daisy energetically, spiritually connected with Sue and Ross actually too, because he kept calling her Daisy Duke and talking to her energy. So I live probably about 250 kilometers away from where Sue and Ross live. And so she just tapped right in. And so Daisy gave her an amazing reading, which I received and read through. And there was a lot of really interesting tidbits and insights from Daisy, of course. And then there was the drawing. So the drawing actually, Daisy told Sue how to draw her. And the amazing thing is that Daisy actually told her to draw the left eye larger than the right eye. And that was quite curious. But it was interesting because I received the package in the mail with the beautiful drawing that Sue had done with this larger eye. And Sue just said, listen, remember, Daisy told me how to draw her. And actually, Sue had to go out and get colored pencils to color the eye the way the dog wanted it. So interestingly enough, Daisy has her good days and her bad days. She has cataracts in her eye, and she's not hearing very well anymore, but her sense of smell is still very strong. And one day she was not really having a great day. and the left eye was actually larger than the right eye. And I went, ooh, isn't that fortuitous? A glimpse of what is transpiring with Daisy. And she was rather low at that point and has rebounded since then. But I know that that's a symbol. So when I start to see the larger left eye, I have to pay more attention. And of course, then, I've been doing Reiki on her, helping her to be comfortable and enjoying the last days of her life. So there's a reason and a purpose to everything.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what it is. She's showing you the sign that what for you to watch for when it's time for her to cross. Can you believe that we're almost out of time?
It's gone so fast.
I know, right? And what I want to do is kind of to wrap up is tell them how you're going to finish now. So you're going to, finish doing it.
So what I do is basically I use in my mind the power symbol, and I'm sending the power symbol of love and just closing this off, intending the best and highest to all of you who are watching. And may you find relief in your pain, fear, anxiety in your life, and that you feel a little bit blessed, a little lighter. And right now I'm going to go into Gosho, which is the hand prayers, and just say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm releasing each and every one of you from this energy transmission, and be blessed.
And I can feel myself really ready to go and have a nap now. Folks, Brenda, tell everybody your website address, please.
Absolutely. So if you want to get in touch with me, there's a contact form and there's free gifts, there's a free meditation, there's all kinds of goodies there. Go to www.brenda, PEARCE.com, BrendaPearce.com. And let me know what you thought of this show. If there's anything you would like to know more, if you would like to have a consultation, I can do some distance Reiki with you. Or if you want to be trained, we can actually do it online as well.
Perfect. Well, we're out of time, my friend. I love you. Folks, you've been watching Sue London, the Pet Psychic, with Brenda Pearce, and we'll be right back on XZTV. Welcome back to the show. You've been watching Ask Sue London, the Pet Psychic, and my guest has been Brenda Pearce, and today you have been experiencing Reiki. Now, I want to remind you that, you've watched this with Brenda, and anytime you can come back and experience the Reiki over and over. And I would strongly suggest that you drink a lot of water for the next couple days. And if you find you feel achy, that's just totally normal, because that's a good thing. The toxins are coming out of your body. Before I tell you a story, I want to tell you about an upcoming event I have. It's called Healing for the Holidays. And in this event, I'm going to be giving everybody who is part of the Zoom call Reiki treatment. And I'm going to talk to you about your loved ones and your pets who have crossed over, their messages. You'll be able to ask your questions. So what's going to happen is Rob, my producer, is going to post that on my page. So you can go to my TV page and then it'll be up there, and you can join the Zoom registration and then connect with us and join us on Tuesday, December 21st. And that will be at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So what I want to talk to you now, it's kind of an interesting day I've had. I had this all planned out, how this segment was going to go. And having the abilities that I have being a psychic medium, I never know what will happen. By the hour, things will change. So I was blow drying my hair this morning, and my father-in-law came through, and he wanted me to change how I was doing this whole segment and talk to you about what happened, what I did to help him to cross over. Because we both feel that there are a lot of people that are going to be viewing this show, that are in the audience today, and that they're going to experience helping someone else cross over. So I'm going to share with you two stories. The first one is with my father-in-law, Keith. He was a dad to me. He was like an amazing man and a great father-in-law. He was more of a father than father-in-law for me. So here's our story. When it is our time to cross, our loved ones choose us. So if you have lost somebody and you weren't there with them, please, please do not feel guilty, because you were not meant to be there. They chose to go on their own for whatever reason. Oftentimes they do that because they don't want you to feel, go through that stressful time, or, be terribly upset. So our loved ones always choose who's with them and when they're going to go. So my father-in-law chose my husband and myself and my sister-in-law to be with him when it was his time. What unfolded in the 2 weeks prior to his crossing over was that for 1 week before he was hospitalized, we did not know. But my mother-in-law on the other side kept turning on lights and opening doors, and she kept telling me the message, Dad was in the hospital. So we got to the hospital, found out, where he was, and we got there. And when I went into the room, because I feel stuff, I could feel my throat very dry and like I needed to drink. And when that happens to you, or what happens to me, is that I knew that Dad was dehydrated, and I had suggested, my husband help him to get a drink. For me also, I could feel in my body like a dark area. I don't know how to explain it to you. It's a dark area. And it turned out that by the end of that first week, after many tests, that Dad was full of cancer. He was dehydrated and he was full of cancer. So, fast forward a couple of days, and Mom on the other side had come and woke us up at 4:00 in the morning, get to the hospital now. And we got to the hospital and we were there, and it was becoming time for Dad to cross. But what happens with our loved one is often they will either go peacefully, or they might be, scared. Maybe they know you don't want them to go. They know you don't want to let them go. So they'll hang on. They kind of struggle. So what happened with me using Reiki, I suggested to my husband to put his hand on Dad's shoulder. He was up at his shoulder, and I sat at his feet. And it was the greatest gift that my dad could have ever given me. I sat there and I hung onto his feet, and my husband kept saying, Dad, I love you. I let you go into the light. And my mother-in-law on the other side was on the other side, and she had her hand on his shoulder to support him through the process. The best thing that you can do when you're with somebody who's going to cross is just to tell them how much you love them. Get your words out. They can hear you, and tell them, encourage them to let go, that you let go and you love them and go into the light. Because what was happening with Dad was he was kind of like struggling. Should I go? Do I stay? I don't know what this is going to be like. So listen to what you hear when you're with somebody, because often that's, your loved ones telling you how to guide the person or what to say to them. So while this is going all on, at the point where I'm sitting at Dad's feet doing Reiki on him, I was extremely cold, because when you're with a lot of spirits and energy on the other side, the temperature in the room can get very, very cold. So the nurse had brought me 3 blankets, and I had a winter coat on. That's how cold I felt. Now, others in the room did not feel that, but because I'm sensitive, this is what I was experiencing. So all of a sudden, while this is happening, I was watching Dad become gray in color. And then I watched as he's laying down, and I watched as his soul sat up. And we were encouraging him, we love you, Dad, go into the light with Mom, and it's okay. It's all good. And I was watching, he was sitting up, and then his body, his soul started going up. And then Mom took his hand. And then at this point, beside me in the corner was this big open space. It was like the white light, the tunnel was opening for him to go through. And as he's sitting up, all these on the other side, all his loved ones, his pets, his ancestors from generations, they all came to greet him, to take him to the other side. and they crossed over and they peacefully went together. And it was such an incredible experience to be a part of. And it touches my heart every day when I think about this. I get teary-eyed just talking about it because it was a very special moment for me. And I was very blessed to be a part of helping him with that process. So that is what Reiki had done for me with my dad. Now, Reiki also helped with my dog, Rocky. Now, Rocky, I told you he had a tumor in his paw, and I did the Reiki on him, and it healed the tumor, and he didn't have to have his leg amputated. But as he got older, he found his replacement, my future husband that, we've been together now for 20 years. That was his replacement. And I'm telling you that because the animals will always find their replacements. Okay. So he had found his replacement and he was starting to go downhill. Now, I will tell you in all honesty that I did not want to let this dog go. And I was being selfish because I did not want to let this dog go. And he was hanging on for me. And I had friends actually call me on it and say, you need to let the dog go. So what happened was, the day came, the vet came to the home, and I was holding Rocky in my arms. And I looked at him and I said, Rocky, I love you. I let you go. Go and join, all your friends on the other side. And as soon as I did that, I gave him a kiss on his forehead. And as soon as I did that, he peacefully crossed right over. And he basically, was just waiting for me to say, I love you, I let you go. And then that's why he crossed. He was hanging on for me. He didn't even need to have the needles, to what they normally would do. So that is how powerful you hanging on to your loved one is. And I want to encourage you to, tell them how much you love them. They're with you now. Tell them every day how much you love them, how much you appreciate them, what they mean to you in your life. Life is so short, and you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring for you or for your loved ones. So I want to share those words with you, and I hope that will help you. I also want to tell you a message from a special dog named Bentley Boy. He was a drawing that I did this week, and he had a message he wanted to share. And that message was basically that it's very important for us to live in the moment, that yesterday was the past, tomorrow is the future, but today is a gift. So live in that moment, enjoy and cherish every single thing that comes in front of you. It is a gift. We wake up, it is present. What happens in that moment, we chose it. Like Brenda said to you earlier, we chose our situations, the people in our life, the activities we do. We chose everything. So take that moment and cherish it and appreciate everything that you have in front of you at that moment. And life will become a great adventure the more that you do that. So take Bentley's words and then you can see by the portrait that this is his drawing. So learn from him and him being playful with the little butterfly there. So we're almost out of time, guys. Remember that we have got this event coming up. And I was going to share with you, we have got, if you go to asksuelondon.ca, and if you click on the portraits and put in the word portrait, you will have $100 off of your pet portrait. And if you go to a one-on-one reading, our reading, you get $50 off if you put the word reading in there. So enjoy that. Gosh, we're out of time. I've really enjoyed having you with us today. And I hope that something that Brenda and I have said and done will help you along your journey. On behalf of myself, my producer, Rob, we've really enjoyed having you here on XZTV on Ask Sue London, the Pet Psychic. Until next week.